Hipper here. Today we are having a look at the shell Martel, and I'm having a bit of a hard time figuring out what role this cruiser is supposed to play these days, and I'll try to explain what I'm thinking through this video here.
Engine boost activated.
So this cruiser used to be my favorite tech tree cruiser, absolutely bar none, except lately changes have been happening in the game. And first of all, we got the Albemarle, the British heavy cruiser, a few months ago, and that immediately put Martel to shame. It's more squishy than Martel, absolutely, and it's way harder to play, but it is a much more rewarding ship, and you have a radar. Amazing. So obviously, Albemarle has pushed Martel a bit into the background. And if that wasn't enough, then we had the recent buff to Hipper a month or 2 months ago now, I think, which has really upped that ship into, in my opinion, the highest rank for tech tree cruisers. It's just great. It's wonderful now. It's a super agile cruiser with a 10-second reload and a fearsome array of torpedoes, along with an almost 6-kilometer sonar. So that makes Hipper a beast in almost any circumstance. And unfortunately, I don't think Martel is able to keep up anymore. It's a nice DPM ship. It gives you good fires and good HE damage, and also the AP is absolutely terrifying. You do not want to show broadside to this cruiser. But that's about it, unfortunately. Like Martel has a really hard time contesting caps because it's so squishy. So you have to do what I'm doing here. You have to soften up the resistance beforehand. You cannot just barge into the cap just like you do in Hipper or Prince Eugen, and everybody will stand aside because nobody wants to take a Hipper on in close quarters. So in Capture the Base maps, Martel does okay. Like not as good as Albemarle, obviously. But in domination matches, I really don't like to be in Martel anymore. There are so many better options. So yeah, unfortunately. It's still a very relevant ship, and it's by no means gone totally out of fashion, just like I think Prince Eugen has after the Hipper buff. But it is starting to show its age, and although it hasn't been actually power crept yet, but it is definitely in on its way. It is nice and fast, and it used to be my go-to ship when the meta was all about cruisers, because like I said, the AP on this ship is just devastating, and that's why it's one of my favorite Kraken ships. But Hipper has actually also taken on that honor, because the AP on Hipper is even better. The reload is not as fast, but it hurts a lot more. And very importantly, Hipper is a lot more accurate than Martel is. So although Martel technically gets one more round and a faster reload, I think that Hipper ultimately wins out in the damage department, because even with like a no frills agile build without any precision inspirations like Scott or anything like that, Hipper is still deadly accurate, even at max distance. Which Martel isn't. It's not bad at all. It's a lot better than most other cruisers, and it's actually better than Albemarle, I think. But, like I said, Hipper is just better, hands down, when it comes to accuracy. So I don't think any buffs to Martel is coming, because the Wargaming guys keep telling us that Martel is doing wonderfully. Well, one of the best cruisers out there apparently. Without having actual access to the data, it's hard to say yes or no to that. But I guess I'll just trust them when they say it. So it is nice to have a very fast and agile cruiser here, like you saw how the carrier just missed me. And that is one thing Martel does really well. The speed is great. It can hit 46 knots, I think just under 46 knots, but I usually cap it at 44 or something like that to get better rudder and all the things that I like. And 44 is fine. So you can see here we've thinned out the opposition a little bit on this flank here, so now we can head in and cap. So obviously I'm going to do that because I'm the fastest, so I can do it before anyone else has to reposition or anything like that, which makes everything just easier. Now this Iowa has been sitting here the whole battle, and I think he's been looking for a Kraken or something, because he's just been sitting there picking off low health ships, and that seems to be the whole purpose of his being in this battle here. So obviously we're going to annoy him now. So the enemies are pretty much confined to Cap C now. So if we can just not be too aggressive and just keep them at bay like this, we're going to win this battle here. And of course I'm still picking on this Iowa here. It's just a pet peeve of mine is Kraken hunters like that. So we're going to set him on fire as much as we can. So the fire chance is good on Martel. It's not unfair like some of the other cruisers. It's good, but it shouldn't be any higher, I think. So any buff to the ship should certainly avoid upping the HE meta by, for example, adding an extra 2% fire chance or something. I don't think Wargaming would do that, but I hope not. So we're pushing this guy back here. We're going to set him on fire as many times as we like. Because like I said before, we don't like these Kraken hunters here. So the carrier is getting interested in me now because these guys are in a division. So obviously he's calling for help. And this is where the agile build comes in again. So just time it when the planes are overhead. And he does get one hit in, but not all of them, which is what usually happens. And we suddenly see a low health Iowa that obviously we're gonna set on fire as well. So I'm having another cruiser join me down here now, and of course that's great in a carrier battle because there's gonna be two of us with anti-aircraft fire then, and I think that'll save us because the carrier is doing another round in a minute and trying to drop some torps. So that's the end of the Iowa. Finally, there he had me in a nasty crossfire, so I had to take him out. But now we are ahead 200 points, and like I said before, the carrier is coming in now for a torp run, and I am in safety behind this island here. So as long as I don't poke my butt out, I'm gonna be fine. And the other guy has obviously seen the planes a long time ago, so not really much to worry about here. And we'll have about a minute's peace now until another squadron can come around. Now, if you notice, I'm not targeted by anyone, but I know for a fact that the Kraken Iowa is trying to get me. Because just before, when I was spotted briefly, he immediately threw a salvo my way. So I'm just looking at him now to see if he's still very interested in me, and his guns are pointing the other way. So we're going to take this chance here to get out of this this deadlock here, because if I keep sitting here, the carrier is going to get me sooner or later. And luckily the Iowa is gone now as well. So things are looking much brighter now. So with the Iowa gone, the enemies are down to 2 cruisers and a carrier. And obviously I am going to start hunting for the carrier now, because, well, why not? And he was targeting me quite a bit, so let's try to return the favor, shall we? So the Siegfried is the only thing that's holding me back now. Just gotta get rid of that ship, and then the carrier is left defenseless. Pretty much, well, not defenseless, but usually a carrier left by itself is quite an easy prey, if you can keep it spotted, that is. I still think the concealment on carriers is just a little bit too crazy. I had a game earlier today where the carrier was the only ship left on the enemy team, and myself and another cruiser and 2 battleships were pursuing it. Like, we knew exactly where it was, but it was just staying right outside detection distance, and we kept doing that for like 5 minutes. Exactly the same as when you are chasing a destroyer throughout the map just to finish the game. And I mean, it's just not fun. I understand why carriers should have good detection, I get it, but I think they are a little bit too invisible in this game. And it also just looks jarring when like suddenly in the middle of an empty ocean, this huge carrier just pops up at 8 kilometer distance. It's okay with destroyers because they are small, but a carrier, yeah, well, I get from like a game mechanics standpoint that this is the way it's supposed to be and this is the way it works, but it's just a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. So the carrier is spotted, but I'm too far from it, and I was thinking, oh well, someone else is gonna get it before me. But that's before I remembered that Martel is really, really fast. So you can see I have my speed boost on here, and we are quickly approaching 45 knots here. And I have the stock range on the ship here. I don't really need range a lot because I spend my time close to the enemy. So I'm just trying to get in. Like a fleeting shot at the last hit point on this carrier here. And I'm not really sure what happened there, but for some reason I actually got the kill. I didn't have a fire going on him, so not sure. But anyway, I'm not complaining. So that's Martel for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it, and see you out there.